everyone, it's Lisa from My Dreaming Soap. Welcome to my channel. Now we're going to make another kind of Halloween themed soap. It's going to be sort of like a Beetlejuice inspired soap. So I'm going to start off by making some layers. Now I want my layers to be nice and straight ideally and nice and flat, so I'm going to mix them up individually. So what I've done is I've worked out how much soap I need to fill my mould, and I've divided it by the number of layers I want, and then I've poured out the right amount of oil and the right amount of lye solution for that one layer, and I'm going to blend them up individually. The first layer I'm going to do in neon purple. Now I always pre-disperse my neons and keep them dispersed just because I find them annoying really. They just don't tend to blend in very well, but if you disperse them ahead of time, I do it just like I do my titanium dioxide. I find they work really well. And the fragrance I'm using today is Bite Me from Nature's Garden. Okay, so there's my first layer done, and it's very fluid, and that's great because I want it to be fluid to flow into my mould and give me a nice straight level layer. Okay, so let's just pop this in. Now it does mean if you do it like this that your layered soaps will take a little longer to do because you've got to wait for each layer to set up a bit longer, but it's the best way to get nice straight layers. If you have an accelerating fragrance oil, which this one does move a little bit but not very much, then that can be a great way to speed this up, where you mix fragrance oil and dump it in the mould straight away, and then you can get those layers in nice and straight. Okay, so I'm happy with that for my first layer. Just make sure my sides are nice and clean. Good, and then I'm just going to leave that to set up. Whilst the layers are setting up, I've been rolling out some soap dough. You could extrude this. I just literally just got some strips and just rolled them out. So they're pretty well all the same sort of size. And I'm going to use these to make some sandworms. Now these are the sort of black and white snake type creatures in the film. So what I'm going to do is, I've got these and I'm just going to cut little sections. I'm not worrying about getting them too accurate. I don't want them too small because I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours piecing together worms. Okay, so then what I want to do is piece them together. So I'm just going to join them together in little lines. So I'm just going to carry on with those, and then when it's time for me to have a go at making the heads, I haven't really decided how I'm going to do them yet, I'll come back. But I am going to keep going with this and filling it up with its layers as well. going to try and make some of the heads. Now the heads are sort of like double heads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little things, these little segments, and just sort of squish them so that they're more cone shaped. I'm not sure if you can see that. Can you see that sort of more of a cone shape now? Now the middle needs to be quite small. Now these aren't going to be exactly the same as in the movie because I'm not going to be able to get all the detail on them. So this is going to be sort of like the inside snake head. And then I'm going to take an outside bit. It's exactly the same technique, and I'm just going to again squish it so it's more pointy. And then I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to then take this and I'm just going to indent it so I can get this bit in the middle. So it looks very fiddly actually. Okay, and join that together. And then I'm just going to make this a bit more pointy at the top. Okay. Now I know they could be stripy on the top, but again I just need to be careful about how much detail I'm trying to put into those. Right, so again I'm just going to carry on with those. So we've got our soap made and all our layers done. So what I want to now do is create a drizzle shape. So I've got myself a nice drizzly shaped scraper and I'm just going to scrape off. Now I've actually made my scraper thicker than I normally would because I've got to scrape down into previous layers which may be set up. And when I've done this type of soap before, the soap has actually been quite hot inside, and then the heat of that soap can actually distort your scraper. So I've made a slightly chunkier one this time. Let's get this scraped. Just going to get some off first. Okay, I was expecting to scrape quite a lot of this off. It's in my plan, but this stuff that gets scraped off, I make little mini soaps with it. And I always sell them at shows and things where people buy them for sort of like £1 each. And they're always really popular. So I'm not really going to be wasting much. And then I'm going to finish this off by doing a nice lime green layer just to fill in that drizzle scrape and give me a top to put all my little worms in. So last layer, let's get this poured in. Okay, so there's our final layer, so I'm just going to leave that to set up, and then we'll come back and we'll finish off the top of that. Okay, so there's all our little worms on, and then what I want to do is get some eyes piped. So I've made up some red piping. Okay, I know it's not ideal, I've only got one glove on, but I'm going to not really be using this glove, this hand, so I'm just going to pipe on some eyes. Okay, now the snake inside the snake, as it were, should have some eyes as well, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them on. I just think it's going to be too tight. I'll try. Not really, a couple of them. I think I'm just going to leave it as that. I think that will be fine. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to see what it looks like if I rough up this surface a little bit. Just because the worms have roughed it up anyway, and then this could always look a bit like Beetlejuice's hair a bit more on the top, couldn't it? Okay, so I quite like the little top that I've got on that now. So I'm just going to pop this away overnight to go through gel, and then we'll have a look at it in the morning. Here's our Beetlejuice soap the next day, which actually is a couple of days later, and it's looking really cute with those worms on the top, isn't it? Let's get this cut. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got. They're all going to look very similar in the sides. Let's just bust this apart and just grab a couple. Oh, that's come out really well. So we've got our nice straight lines because of the way we poured that nice and fluid. No air bubbles, which is always great. So that's through our careful mixing, and then our sort of little drippy drizzle turning into our sort of almost hair at the top with our cute little, well, they're sandworms, isn't it, on the top. And as I said, they're all going to be pretty well the same with those. Oh, look, I nicked a little sandworm there, so that's all right, I can mend that one. And to finish off, I'll leave you with a final photo of the soap. If you'd like to grab yourself a bar of this soap, it is available in the shop right now. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you like the soap. If you have, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy soaping!